Okay, YouTube. Had a couple of requests for some instructional videos on how to pan. Now, I'm no expert gold miner or panner, but I'm, pretty good at it. So I figured maybe I could lend some insight to some people out there that are just starting out. What I have here is just some gravel from Northwork Santiam. I've already worked it through. There's probably nothing in it. Just using this for test material to show you. But I have a nice little picker here that I'm going to put in. Get in the focus. And I'm just going to drop it right in there. You see, we're putting it right on the top. Now, people are going to be worried and say, well, you're going to lose it. Well, no, I'm not, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how that there right at the top will end up all the way at the bottom in the left-hand corner of my pan. It's a good way to kind of practice your methods. You can use BBs or lead or anything heavier than rock, some kind of metal, just to practice if you don't have any gold. And you just pan that like that and make sure that you keep your heavy objects in there, and it lets you know that you're panning efficiently and you're not losing anything. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to start the process. We want to get it liquefied, fill it up with water, and you just want to shake it around. People say, well, what do you do? Well, everybody has their own methods. I do it kind of in a swirling pattern at first. I'll kind of swirl it, and then I'll go side to side, and I'll give it like more of a shake. And then I'll swirl, and I'll go side to side and shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Now, people say, well, but you're going to lose that nugget in there that you put. Well, no, I'm not, because gold is heavier than all these other pebbles in here. So it's going to sink down to the bottom no matter what I do. Now, if I just were to drop it in and then start washing it, well, no, of course, it would wash out. But as long as you shake it and you stratify it and you keep it liquefied, it's going to give your gold an opportunity to sink to the bottom. And that's what you want. You want it to sink to the bottom so you can wash all this other lighter stuff off and keep the heavier stuff in the bottom. And, you could get gems, you could get platinum, you could get copper, you could get all kinds of things. So you really want to, this is the important part. Once you've shaken it and stratified it, then you know that you're pretty much safe. My gold's going to be right down here in the corner, left-hand corner, and I'll show you here shortly. You want to get it all down to a comfortable spot, and then you just lightly wash off the rocks. Don't go too fast. Got to be patient. I go side to side, and then I give it a nice one in the front. Now, you want to take it back down and re-stratify it. Get it to resettle, just in case. Plus, too, if other stuff didn't sink, this helps it go down to the bottom as well. Now, when you get to the black sands, unfortunately, you're going to lose some micron gold, because a lot of the micron gold is smaller than the particles of black sand, and it just can't make it through, no matter how much you shake. So, some people like to do what I'm doing here. I got a panning tub, so if I, were to lose anything, it's all going to go right into here. And if I'm out in the creek and I'm working hard, I don't want to lose anything. So a lot of times, some people like to just take it to the edge of the creek and find a nice calm spot to pan, and that's fine. You can do that, but you sometimes, and I have done this before, I'll be panning and a big wave will come rushing in and wash out in the back side of here. Well, my gold's going to be down here in the lower end, and I've washed out that whole thing. So, if you're careful, it's fine. But if you've got gold in there that you don't want to lose, this is a good way to be safe about it, just to keep it. So anyways, I'll get this going here, and I'll show you that I'm not full of baloney, and that I will keep my gold in the left-hand corner. You know, everybody has their own methods. Mine isn't tried and true, but it works for me. Just wash it off, and you have to be patient. You just have to be patient. You don't want to go too fast. Patience, patience, patience. Just keep washing that stuff off. Give it another swirl, re-stratify, get it to settle. You've got these riffles here. I've heard them referred to as Chinese traps, because in the old days, you know, they all used metal pans. You know, well, the Chinese figured out that if they pounded these lips into here, riffles, that it would catch, you know, the heavy particles in the pan better. So they would pound them in, and so over the years, you know, other companies have come along and molded plastics to mimic the old Chinese pans. So they call them, I've heard them referred to as Chinese traps anyways. So we just give it a little wash off. And this is a keen pan. It has a smaller set of riffles right here for the black sands, but that's a little bit more advanced panning. Maybe I'll make a video about that at a later date. But let's get going here. I'm kind of talking too much, sorry, long-winded guy. We will get this washed down for you. And see, as you can see, we're getting down to where the black sand is starting to appear. And that's really when you want to start being more careful, because of the fine particles of gold that you don't want to lose. And also, too, once you get it down to this point, the fine, you want to resettle it, because all the black sands will sink back down. And then you just keep doing it, but you're more careful at this point. You're being more careful, and you're getting all the bigger rocks to float off. And you're being careful. Just give it another shake here, and side to side, and back and forth. Careful not to go too fast. Careful not to wash out the back end. That's good. Give it another shake. We're almost to the point where you want to come to the big reveal. You call it a fanning action. You get all that stuff off of there, and we're going to fan it out. And we've got all our material right there, and I could do it a little bit better, but just for effect here, we're going to show you you just swirl it around in it. See how it kind of carries away the lighter stuff? And right there in the left-hand corner is my gold. So here she is right here. It all sat up in here. It's because I was doing this back and forth action, and then side to side and front to front, front to back, and for some reason it just all settles up right in this little corner. So once you get it all down, you pretty much have the problem licked. You get your gold up here in the corner. Now it's good to save this other stuff here, this black sand. See how it's blacker than this? This is an iron sand. It's mineralized. And a lot of times you can do some processes to this. If you get a bunch of it, you can crush it up, and I mortal pestle it sometimes and then pan it out, and you get a little bit more gold out of it. And it's just, it's magnetic. It's more rare than the other sand. I just like to save it and collect it. But anyways, that's the panning. Like I said, everybody has different methods and ways of doing things, but that's the way I do it. And it's just practice, practice, practice. So get out there and get some material in your pan and just keep practicing until you perfect it. Maybe you'll find, you know, better techniques that work better for you, and that's great too. So thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful, and may you get lots of gold in your pans.